This guide covers all the actions Dawntrail's Pugilist and Monk learns from level 1 to 100 in order. We go over how each action is meant to be used and recommend ways to use it when relevant. We will summarize the attack rotation at level 50 and then summarize changes in it at level 60, 70, 80 and 90. In the final summary at level 100, we outline an optimized opener and explain how it leads into the general rotation alongside 2-minute burst considerations. We also touch on the stat priorities of the Monk. Now then, Bootshine is your starting weapon skill, which functions as your combo starter. For now, you simply use this action repeatedly. You also start with the trait Greased Lightning, which reduces the recast timer on your weapon skills by 5%, meaning that you can use weapon skills slightly faster than other jobs. This recast timer is more commonly referred to as the global cooldown, and if you want to learn more about this, I have a video that goes more in detail on that in the description. At level 4, you learn the weapon skill True Strike. Whenever you use Bootshine, you will enter Raptor form, which is required to be able to use True Strike. Using True Strike then changes your form to Quirl form, which will be relevant a bit later. At this point, you simply alternate between Bootshine and True Strike. At level 6, you learn the weapon skill Snap Punch, which is only available when in Quirl form. Using Snap Punch changes you into Oppo form. Snap Punch does significantly more damage when used from the flank of the enemy. The flank consists of these 2/4 of the targeting reticle, and it still counts if you get closer, of course. If an enemy's targeting reticle is closed, then positional requirements like this always succeed. It is more important to use your attacks when they are available than using them from the correct angle, so use your attacks when you can. When fighting alone, it is almost impossible to reach positionals like this in the first place, so don't worry too much about it outside of groups. Oppo form makes your combo starters, like Bootshine, have an additional effect. In this case, Bootshine will always deal a critical hit, by default 40% more damage, increased by the critical hit stat. From now on, you fight by using Bootshine, then True Strike, then Snap Punch, repeatedly. Remember that if you can reach the flank of the enemy, Snap Punch does more damage from the flank. At level 8, you learn the role action and ability Second Wind, which heals you for a significant amount. When in a group, it is recommended to only use Second Wind if you are the only one that needs significant healing, as otherwise, the healer will probably cast a party-wide heal anyway. At level 10, you learn the role action and ability Leg Sweep, which stuns your target, which can stop enemies with telegraphed attacks with cast times. As a stun, it can also be used to help give your tank a bit of breathing room by stopping at least one enemy in its tracks for a bit. At level 12, you learn the role action and ability Bloodbath, which adds a life-stealing effect to your attacks. If you're actively taking damage or need a lot of healing over a longer period of time, then Bloodbath is likely stronger than Second Wind, and using both at the same time may sometimes be excessive and cause you to lack options later. At level 15, you unlock the Chakra gauge, alongside the pseudo ability Steeled Meditation. While abilities normally can be used during the weapon skill recast time, using meditation puts your weapon skills on a 1-second recast time. For this reason, you should only use this ability either when you're not in combat, when you're running to your target, or if for some other reason cannot be in range to attack. When meditation is cast, you gain 1 chakra out of 5. If you're not in combat, it instead grants all 5 immediately. When you have 5 chakra stacks, this ability turns into the proper ability Steel Peak, which does some damage and can be used between your weapon skills. When Steel Peak is available, use it between 2 weapon skills as soon as possible for some free bonus damage. This is commonly referred to as weaving. Make sure to spam meditations until your chakra gauge is full whenever you have nothing else to do. Because of how meditations work, for now, you should expect to have 1, and only 1, Steel Peak per fight. At level 18, you unlock the Beast Chakra gauge and learn the weapon skill Twin Snakes, which is an alternative to True Strike that grants a stack of Raptor's Fury to the Fury part of the Beast Chakra gauge. True Strike spends this Raptor's Fury stack to do 200 more potency of damage, if you have one. As such, you should use Twin Snakes for your Raptor form step if you don't have Raptor's Fury, True Strike if you do. Your buttons will also glow to indicate which one you should use next. Something that some monks refer to as Obey the Balls. At level 20, your trait Greased Lightning upgrades to reduce your recast timer by 10% instead. This simply means your weapon skills ready a bit faster. At level 22, you learn the role action and ability Feint, which causes your target to do less damage for a bit, with physical damage being reduced twice as much. The best time to use Feint is when you're expecting a large amount of damage from an enemy, especially if you know it will be physical. Good examples include when a boss is casting a party-wide attack or a large strike on the tank. At level 26, you learn the weapon skill Arm of the Destroyer, which is an area of effect, AoE for short, alternative to Bootshine. At this level, on exactly 3 targets, use Arm of the Destroyer instead of Bootshine, but otherwise do your rotation as normal. On 4 or more targets, just use Arm of the Destroyer repeatedly. At level 30, you learn the weapon skill Demolish, which is an alternative to Snap Punch that grants 2 stacks of Quirrell's Fury to the Fury part of the Beast Chakra gauge. Snap Punch spends 1 of these stacks to do 150 more potency of damage, if you have any. As such, you should use Demolish for your Quirrell form step if you don't have any Quirrell's Fury, Snap Punch if you do. Like with True Strike and Twin Snakes, your buttons will also glow to indicate which would be better to use. Additionally, Demolish does significantly more damage when used from the rear of an enemy, which is signified by the open part of the targeting reticle. If you position yourself just around where the targeting reticle line stops, you can easily quickly switch between flank and rear positions for Snap Punch and Demolish. Also at level 30, doing your class quest line will eventually lead you to the Monk quest, which is available once you complete the main scenario quest, Self-Management. Once you unlock the Monk, remember to equip your Soul Crystal to change into the Monk job. The starting action of the Monk is Rockbreaker, which is an AoE alternative to Snap Punch and Demolish. Rockbreaker is your strongest option on 3 or more targets, however, as you don't have a good AoE option for the Raptor form yet, at this level, simply spamming Arm of the Destroyer repeatedly is slightly better on 7 or more targets, which is quite many but can sometimes happen. This also means that on 3 to 6 targets, you use Arm of the Destroyer, Twin Snakes or True Strike, and then Rockbreaker. At level 32, you learn the role action and ability Arm's Length, which makes you immune to most knockbacks, and also has the additional effect that if an enemy swings at you, it reduces their attack speed for a while. This is a very strong defensive tool if you need it, so consider using this ability when you're targeted by enemies, especially if the tank dies, for instance. At level 35, you learn the ability Thunderclap, which allows you to dash to a party member or an enemy in a flash. The ability has up to 2 charges and readies another every 30 seconds. However, since it does no damage, you should only use it for mobility. You can use this to dash out of a boss mechanic at the very last moment by dashing to a friend and then dash back in once it is safe to do so. At level 38, you learn the trait Deep Meditation, which makes critical hits with weapon skills have an 80% chance to grant you 1 chakra stack. This will mainly happen through Oppo boot shines, but in general, this is the reason why you should use Steel Peak as soon as possible when it is available, to avoid getting a chakra stack with no space to hold it. While AoE attacks like Arm of the Destroyer and Rockbreaker have the opportunity to critical hit multiple enemies at once, they will only grant, at most, 1 chakra stack. At level 40, you learn the pseudo ability Inspirited Meditation, which is functionally identical to Steeled Meditation in every way. However, when you have 5 chakra stacks, it instead turns into the proper ability Howling Fist, which is an AoE alternative to Steel Peak. With 2 or more targets, Howling Fist is superior to Steel Peak and should be used instead. Additionally, in the rare event that you are too far away to attack an enemy with melee, but within 10 yalms, you can use Howling Fist as a makeshift range attack. Note that Howling Fist strikes in a line in front of you, so make sure you're facing correctly when using it. Your trait Greased Lightning is also upgraded to 15%, further increasing the speed of your weapon skill usage. At level 42, you learn the ability Mantra, which makes you and your party receive more healing for a while. This means this action is almost useless when playing alone, as it only affects Second Wind for you, but can be useful in a group setting to help your healers recover from large amounts of damage. At level 45, you learn the weapon skill 4-Point Fury, which is an AoE alternative to True Strike and Twin Snakes. On 3 or more targets, 4-Point Fury beats both of the alternative options. This of course also means that when there are 3 or more targets, you simply use Arm of the Destroyer, 4-Point Fury and Rockbreaker. At level 50, you learn the weapon skill Dragon Kick, which is an alternative to Bootshine that grants a stack of Oppo's Fury to the Fury part of the Beast Chakra gauge. Bootshine spends this stack to do 200 more potency of damage if you have it. As Dragon Kick does more base damage than Bootshine, you should always use Dragon Kick if you have no form, or if you have Oppo form and you don't have Oppo's Fury. And then use Bootshine if you have Oppo form and Oppo's Fury. Your buttons will also glow to indicate which would be better to use when you are in Oppo form. On exactly 3 targets, Dragon Kick and Boot Shine are stronger than Arm of the Destroyer, but on 4 or more targets, Arm of the Destroyer takes the lead again. Due to the combination of potency, automatic critical hits, and the potential chakra gains from said critical hits, Boot Shine with Oppo's Fury is your strongest single target weapon skill with no contest. This is relevant because you also learn the ability Perfect Balance, which makes your next 3 weapon skills act as if you are in the correct form, regardless of whether you are or not. Perfect Balance holds up to 2 charges and generates 1 every 40 seconds. Take note that once Perfect Balance ends, you're left in no form, so at this level, you should preferably do both Perfect Balance casts back to back to minimize the amount of times you have to start from scratch. The optimal way to use Perfect Balance for damage on a single target is to alternate between Dragon Kick and Boot Shine. Make sure to start with Dragon Kick to reboot your rotation once your Perfect Balance ends. On 3 or more targets, Perfect Balance is best used to just smash Rockbreaker repeatedly. As Dragon Kick and Boot Shine are considered your best single target attack combination, it is best to use Perfect Balance after either of these, rather than jump into Perfect Balance immediately. You also learn the role action and ability True North, which makes all attacks with some sort of positional bonus like Snap Punch and Demolish automatically succeed. I recommend using True North if you're expecting to be unable to reach the upcoming positionals. Now, to summarize at level 50, let's cover an actual boss fight opener and rotation. Make sure to use Meditation to ready Steel Peak before the fight begins. Then, you can optionally quickly engage combat with Thunderclap and then begin with Dragon Kick, weaving Perfect Balance, and Steel Peak, followed by Dragon Kick again, Boot Shine, Dragon Kick, weaving Perfect Balance again, Boot Shine, Dragon Kick, Boot Shine, and then rebooting your rotation with Dragon Kick. If you are in a party and someone else pulled, leading you to already being in combat, you can also use Perfect Balance before you run up to the boss to skip the initial Dragon Kick, and of course, the important part is alternating Dragon Kick and Boot Shine depending on whether you have the Fury or not. This then leads to the general rotation. Steel Peak should be weaved whenever it is available. When Perfect Balance is less than 6 seconds from reaching 2 charges, weave it after your next Dragon Kick or Boot Shine and use these Perfect Balances back to back, and reboot the rotation with Dragon Kick after that. For the rest of your rotation, for no form, always use Dragon Kick. For Oppo form, use Dragon Kick if you lack the Fury, Boot Shine if you have it. For Raptor form, use Twin Snakes if you lack the Fury, True Strike if you have it. For Quirrell form, use Demolish if you lack the Fury, Snap Punch if you do. Remember, Demolish does more damage from the rear of an enemy, Snap Punch does more from the flank. For 2 or more targets, replace Steel Peak with Howling Fist. For exactly 3 targets, replace your Raptor and Quirrell combos with 4-point Fury for Raptor form and Rockbreaker for Quirrell form. For 4 or more targets, also replace your No form and Oppo form combos with Arm of the Destroyer. For 3 or more targets, Perfect Balance should be used on just Rockbreaker. With that, let's continue on past level 50. At level 52, you learn the weapon skill Form Shift, which causes you to enter a super form that counts as all 3 forms simultaneously. From now on, try to start every fight with this Formless Fist effect active, and if there's any significant downtime in a fight, you should use Form Shift first before spamming Meditation. The minor way this changes your opener in a fight is that your initial Dragon Kick grants Oppo's Fury, and you should not skip it by Perfect Balancing preemptively. Take note that this also flips the order of Boot Shines and Dragon Kicks in the opening Perfect Balances. For 3 or more targets, start with Rockbreaker. At level 54, Steeled Meditation is upgraded to Forbidden Meditation, and Steel Peak is permanently upgraded to the Forbidden Chakra, massively boosting its damage. This does not really affect your rotation, however. On AoE, the Forbidden Chakra beats Howling Fist on up to 3 targets, meaning you should use Howling Fist on 4 or more targets now. At level 60, you unlock the Master's part of the Beast Chakra gauge, and you learn the weapon skill Masterful Blitz. When you use Perfect Balance, the Master's gauge tracks which form each weapon skill you used belongs to, in the form of Beast Chakras. Then, depending on the combination, it changes Masterful Blitz into one of 4 actions. First, if all 3 Beast Chakras belong to the same form, then Masterful Blitz turns into Elixir Field, which does a massive amount of damage, including an AoE component. It also grants the Lunar Natty, which I will get to shortly. It also grants you Formless Fist, the same effect that Form Shift grants, letting you easily resume your rotation from wherever you like. The answer is always Dragon Kick or Boot Shine. If all 3 Beast Chakras are different, meaning you effectively did a regular 1-2-3 combo, although in any order, then Masterful Blitz turns into Flint Strike, which is identical to Elixir Field, except granting the Solar Nadi instead. If the 3 Beast Chakras match neither of the 2 previous combinations, Masterful Blitz instead turns into Celestial Revolution, which does significantly less damage than both of them, and with no AoE component. Celestial Revolution will either grant the Lunar Natty, or if you already have it, it instead grants the Solar Natty. It also grants Formless Fist. If you have both of the Natty and 3 Beast Chakras, regardless of what they are, Masterful Blitz will turn into Tornado Kick, which does an even more massive amount of damage, with an even bigger AoE component, and of course also grants Formless Fist. Since the Tornado Kick variant allows you to freely choose what 3-step combo you wish to perform, you should make use of Dragon Kick and Boot Shine, as these are still the strongest options. For AoE, you simply spam Rockbreaker on 3 or more targets for Elixir Field and Tornado Kick, and do a proper 1-2-3 combo for Flint Strike. Since level 50, Form Shift and Master's Gauge have affected your rotation significantly. Form Shift allows your initial Dragon Kick to grant Opo Opo's Fury, and also allows you to open with any GCD you like after downtime. The Master's Gauge and Masterful Blitz means that 1 in 3 perfect balance usages has to be basically a regular 1-2-3 combo of some sort to grant you access to the Solar Nadi. Your openers change significantly by this new Masterful Blitz. Use Form Shift and Meditation before fighting begins. Then begin with Dragon Kick, Weaving Perfect Balance and Forbidden Chakra. Then Twin Snakes, Demolish and Boot Shine. Then use Flint Strike and then Dragon Kick, Weaving Perfect Balance again. Then use Boot Shine, Dragon Kick, Boot Shine, then Elixir Field and finish with Dragon Kick again, finishing you off with all the Furies filled in. Remember to weave Forbidden Chakra whenever you hit 5 chakra stacks. For the next perfect balance, you do it with just Dragon Kicks and Boot Shines for Tornado Kick. And then one of the next 2 perfect balances has to be a 1-2-3 combo, although in any order, to access Flint Strike. For future muscle memory, I recommend using the odd minute perfect balance on the minute alone and using the opener and even minute perfect balances in pairs like in the opener. This will make sense later. At level 64, you learn the ability Riddle of Earth, which reduces all damage you take by 20% for 10 seconds. If you're hit by any damage in the duration, it grants Earth's Resolve, healing you for a decent amount over its duration. Riddle of Earth also grants you Earth's Rumination for 30 seconds when used, and turns into Earth's Reply until this effect is spent. Earth's Reply heals party members in your immediate vicinity for a good amount, and an even greater amount if used while you're affected by Earth's Resolve. If you expect to take a large amount of damage, it is worth using Riddle of Earth, and it is always beneficial to use Earth's Reply at some point when it is available. But take note that the area is rather small if you're trying to heal allies. At level 68, you learn the ability Riddle of Fire, which boosts your damage for a while. Make sure to always late weave Riddle of Fire, and from now on, try to save Perfect Balance for Riddle of Fire, using it during the damage buff, or just before, to get the most value out of it. The important part is to use Riddle of Fire on cooldown and plan Perfect Balance around it. Remember to use Perfect Balance after Dragon Kick or Boot Shine. In your opener, late weave Riddle of Fire after Demolish and delay Forbidden Chakra to after Boot Shine. At level 70, you learn the ability Brotherhood, which boosts you and your party's damage and causes everyone's GCDs to have a chance to grant you chakra stacks. Additionally, during Brotherhood, you can temporarily reach up to 10 chakra stacks. Spenders still spend them in sets of 5. This means that during Brotherhood, it is very important to stay on top of using Forbidden Chakra as often as you can. Be careful mashing the button, as you may risk pressing Meditation instead. Use Brotherhood on cooldown, early weave it in the same window you weave Riddle of Fire. By default, the Elixir Field and Flint Strike perfect balances will line up with Brotherhood, but certainly 2 perfect balances will line up with it. Since level 60, the introduction of Riddle of Fire and Brotherhood has adjusted your opener slightly. Use Brotherhood and Riddle of Fire after Demolish and weave Forbidden Chakra after Boot Shine. Monk's GCD is extremely fast compared to other jobs, so if your connection isn't the best, you may find it genuinely impossible to double weave without clipping. If this is the case, I would suggest using Brotherhood after Twin Snakes, then Riddle of Fire after Demolish, and Forbidden Chakra after Bootshine. More generally again, for 2-minute bursts with both Brotherhood and Riddle of Fire, you can start your first perfect balance once these buffs are within 6 seconds of being ready, as long as they're up before the Masterful Blitz. If Flint Strike features in this burst window, do that one first, as the 1-2-3 combo is weaker than the Dragon Kicks and Bootshines. At level 72, you learn the ability Riddle of Wind, which causes your auto attacks to happen twice as fast. You don't have much control over your auto attacks, but there are ways to optimize this, although it is a very advanced trick. Riddle of Wind's cooldown misaligns it from both Riddle of Fire and Brotherhood regularly. This is fine, and you should use it on cooldown regardless. In your opener, weave Riddle of Wind alongside the Forbidden Chakra after Bootshine. If you can't double weave it after Flint Strike instead. At level 74, Deep Meditation's 80% activation chance is upgraded to 100%. Additionally, Inspirited Meditation is upgraded to Enlightened Meditation, and Howling Fist is permanently upgraded to Enlightenment, doubling its potency. This means Enlightenment is better than Forbidden Chakra on 2 or more targets. At level 76, Greased Lightning reaches its magnum opus of 20% GCD reduction, planting your base GCD at a clean 2.00. At level 80, you learn the weapon skill Six-Sided Star, which does hit surprisingly hard, but has the downside of having a GCD that is twice as long as all other weapon skills. Six-Sided Star also gives you a 20% speed boost for 5 seconds when used, letting you run away quickly after using it. Finally, Six-Sided Star also spends all of your chakra, converting them to 80 extra potency per stack, peaking its potency at 1510 potency with a full 10 chakra during Brotherhood. Technically, using Six-Sided Star exactly as Riddle of Fire and Brotherhood ends at a full 10 chakras leads to an attack that averages 445 potency per GCD invested if we subtract the 620 potency you could have had from just using Forbidden Chakras. This is slightly more than the average potency of a GCD. However, this is not easy to do, is a reasonably small gain, and will phase out at higher level anyway. With that said, Six-Sided Star should never be used as part of your general rotation. However, if your target is about to either become untargetable or otherwise unreachable for a bit, or you need to get away from the boss for longer than a single GCD, use Six-Sided Star as the final GCD and run away as late as you can to make the most of it. Remember, you can also use Thunderclap to dash to a friend. When a boss is about to die, finishing with Six-Sided Star is also a bigger finish than most of your other options. As it dumps all of your chakra too, it gives you space to rebuild chakra in the potential downtime. Since level 70, Riddle of Wind is introduced as another cooldown to use on cooldown. In the opener, use this one alongside Forbidden Chakra after Bootshine, and aside from that, use it on cooldown. If anything will cause you to be unable to attack anything for several seconds, make sure to finish your attack with Six-Sided Star and make use of its mobility to run to a safe spot if necessary. At level 82, Arm of the Destroyer is permanently upgraded to Shadow of the Destroyer, which has the Opo form potency of Arm of the Destroyer by default, and instead gains the same Opo form effect as Bootshine, causing it to be a guaranteed critical hit, making it always grant 1 chakra stack. On 3 or more targets, Shadow of the Destroyer should be used instead of Dragon Kick and Bootshine. During Perfect Balance, on 3 or more targets, Shadow of the Destroyer is your strongest option, but when aiming for Flint Strike, as usual, simply use a full 1-2-3 combo of your AoE options. At level 84, Thunderclap gains an extra charge, and the trait Melee Mastery boosts the potency of all of your regular single target GCDs by around 10 to 20%. Forbidden Chakra also gains a damage boost, making it equal to Enlightenment on 2 targets specifically. This also removes that property where Six-Sided Star makes you get slightly more value out of your chakra stacks, as Forbidden Chakra is now also 80 potency per chakra in value. At level 86, Flint Strike, the Solar Nadi Blitz, permanently upgrades to Rising Phoenix, increasing its potency. However, this does not change your rotation. At level 88, Brotherhood is upgraded to cause your weapon skills to always generate a chakra stack during the buff. This does mean that a critical hitting weapon skill will result in 2 chakra stacks. It does not change how you use Brotherhood, but does make the chakra usage during it even more frantic. Take note that these chakra stacks are granted the instant that the damage numbers appear, which means you can sometimes do a GCD, spend 5 chakra, and then gain the chakra from the preceding GCD. At level 90, Tornado Kick, the grand finisher of the Masterful Blitz, is permanently upgraded to Phantom Rush, boosting its potency to absurd degrees. This does not change your rotation at all, however. Since level 80, you've learned Shadow of the Destroyer, making it your best option for 3 or more targets in no form or Oppo form, and for perfect balance. Aside from this, you mainly gained various potency upgrades, changing nothing about your rotation. At level 92, Bootshine permanently upgrades to Leaping Oppo, True Strike permanently upgrades to Rising Raptor, Snap Punch permanently upgrades to Pouncing Quill, and Elixir Field permanently upgrades to Elixir Burst. This increases the combo steps potencies by 40 each, and Elixir Burst is as strong as Rising Phoenix. What this changes for your rotation is specifically that you should use your AoE combo options on 4 or more targets instead of 3. At level 94, Second Wind is upgraded to heal you more, and Dragon Kick, Twin Snakes and Demolish also gain 40 potency. Six-Sided Star also gains 70 potency, and Phantom Rush gains 100 more potency. However, all of this changes nothing for your rotation. At level 96, Riddle of Wind is upgraded to grant the Wind's Rumination buff for 15 seconds and turn into Wind's Reply until this buff is spent. Wind's Reply is a GCD that hits very hard in a straight line with an AoE component. Simply put, you can sprinkle in Wind's Reply anywhere you like during Riddle of Fire when available, or just whenever you like when Riddle of Wind does not align with Riddle of Fire. At level 98, Feint is upgraded to last 15 seconds instead of 10. This does not change how you use it. At level 100, Riddle of Fire is upgraded to grant the Fire's Rumination buff for 20 seconds and turn into Fire's Reply until this buff is spent. Fire's Reply is a ranged GCD that hits very hard with an AoE component. It also grants you Formless Fist. After Dragon Kick or Leaping Oppo changes you into Raptor form, use Fire's Reply to get another Oppo GCD in. Now, to round off, let's first talk about an opener followed by general rotation as well as how to work with the 2-minute burst. And finally, let's briefly touch on stat priorities on gear. Monk is known to have a very large amount of opener options, and throughout this guide, we've been working our way towards the Solar Luna 5S Buffs DK opener, which is a decent opener in an uncoordinated group where you don't expect anyone to time raid buffs together. In a coordinated group, delaying Brotherhood and Riddle of Fire 1 extra GCD, and so also delaying Forbidden Chakra and Riddle of Wind 1 extra GCD, may be preferable. With that out of the way, let's begin. Make sure to use Form Shift and Meditation before combat starts. Then, 0.2 seconds before pull, use Thunderclap followed by Dragon Kick and weave Perfect Balance. If you intend to use a Gem Draft, you can also late weave that here or after the next GCD. Then use Twin Snakes, Demolish and weave Brotherhood and Riddle of Fire, Leaping Oppo weaving Forbidden Chakra and Riddle of Wind, then use Rising Phoenix, Dragon Kick, Wind's Reply, then Fire's Reply into Leaping Oppo weaving Perfect Balance again. Then use Dragon Kick, Leaping Oppo, Dragon Kick, Elixir Burst, and finish with Leaping Oppo into Rising Raptor. Remember to weave Forbidden Chakra whenever possible. This then leads to the general rotation. Monk's filler rotation is, quite simply, to use Forbidden Chakra whenever it is available, and then alternating Dragon Kick and Leaping Oppo, alternating Twin Snakes and Rising Raptor, and using Demolish once, Pouncing Quill twice. Although, you can get extremely far by simply looking at what button is currently glowing as you make your way through your rotation. Obey the balls, as they say. Whenever Riddle of Wind is available, use it immediately. If it happens to align with Riddle of Fire, make sure to use Wind's Reply during Riddle of Fire. Although, this should happen naturally assuming neither cooldown drifts. Brotherhood and Riddle of Fire should be used on cooldown, and Perfect Balance usage should be planned around Riddle of Fire. This means that, on the odd minute burst, you use Riddle of Fire whenever it comes up, finish up your current combo with either Dragon Kick or Leaping Oppo, and then Perfect Balance. On the 2-minute, or even minute burst, when Riddle of Fire and Brotherhood are about to come up, finish your combo with Dragon Kick or Leaping Oppo, and use Perfect Balance, and then start with the Rising Phoenix combo. During this combo, you weave Brotherhood and Riddle of Fire when possible. Meaning, going through the combo as a Raptor combo, Quirrell combo, and then Oppo combo, you have 3 opportunities to weave them. So, optimally, you should use Perfect Balance when Brotherhood has at most 6 seconds left on its cooldown. After that, you use Rising Phoenix, Oppo combo, Fire's Reply, Oppo combo, weaving Perfect Balance, and then do the Elixir Burst sequence and finish up with 1 more Oppo combo. Remember, if Riddle of Wind happens to be used in the burst, use Wind's Reply before Riddle of Fire ends. In case for any reason your even minute burst starts with Phantom Rush, you simply replace the Rising Phoenix part of the sequence with that and do Elixir Burst sequence after that. For AoE adjustments, replace your 1-2-3 combos with the AoE options on 4 or more targets, and replace Forbidden Chakra with Enlightenment on 2 or more targets. All other cooldowns are used as normal. Shadow of the Destroyer is used whenever you have the opportunity to in place of Dragon Kick and Leaping Oppo. Finally, regarding stat priorities. Take note that in nearly every single case, item level beats out optimal secondary stats. This means you should always prioritize gear with higher item level, as long as it has strength on it. After that, you either want no skill speed whatsoever, or enough skill speed to reach a GCD of at least 1.94. Then, after that, your priority is critical hit, then determination and directed. Determination and directed are almost identical in value, with determination being a tiny bit better, so try to aim for them to be about equal with determination slightly ahead. It is more important to have more critical hit though. It is reasonably unlikely you will stumble into more skill speed than a GCD of 1.94, but once you reach the GCD you desire, aim to avoid any further skill speed. Now, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to support me and my channel more directly, you can become a member like these wonderful people here. You can also alternatively support me through Ko-Fi, link in the description. You can also support the channel by letting the YouTube algorithm know by liking the video, leaving a comment, subscribing, sharing, and hitting the bell to get notified when next I post a video. Fun fact, initially when Dawntrail launched, an oversight made it so Dragon Kick always granted Oppo Oppo's Fury regardless of form, which led to a very silly rotation where every Boot Shine, or Leaping Oppo, was followed by Dragon Kick, since it came at basically no cost. That does indeed mean that every Masterful Blitz effectively finished with Leaping Oppo, Dragon Kick, and Fire's Reply also finished with Leaping Oppo, Dragon Kick. A lot of Leaping Oppos and Dragon Kicks were had. While unintended, this was considered so much of a nerf to remove that most of Monk's actions got a small damage buff to compensate when it was fixed.